All right, so what I'm going to show you in this video is how to actually get going and starting a project in V-Carve. So the first thing you need to know is what size blank you're actually going to have in the machine. And so that information is going to come from our print. So when we take a look over here on my print, I can see right away that this is the face of my print or the face of my part. And if I take a look, what I notice is that the overall length in X of my part is going to be 3 inches. The overall length in Y for my part is going to be 2.5 inches. So that's side to side and then top to bottom right here. So I need to make sure I know that information. The last thing I'm going to need to know is my Z value, which is going to be right over here. And so if I just take a look, I can see that my Z value is right there, 0.6 inches thick for the entire piece. And so really I just need a piece that's 3 inches in X, 2.5 inches in Y, and 0.6 inches in Z. And so now what I've done is I've just opened up a new instance of V-Carve. So just start in V-Carve, and I've selected a new job. So basically right here, I just create a new file. Now, once you get going, you're gonna be able to see that there's a lot of different files here that I have recently opened, that I've worked on. And once you start generating those, they'll be over here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and create a new file for this. Now, the first menu option that comes up is my job setup page. And I just need to work through this, and this is going to tell the machine and the program exactly what sizes I'm going to be using. So if you remember from the print, the overall size in my X value is going to be 3.0. The overall height value for my Y is going to be 2.5. And then my overall Z value in this case is going to be 0.6. And so you noticed as I changed the sizes, like if I were to change this to 5, in real time, over in the right hand side, my window pane for viewing and drawing changes accordingly. So I'm going to go ahead and change that back to 2.5, and now you can kind of see the shape that my mold is going to take, or that my project is going to take. And so in this case, my X and Y is set, my Z value is set. Now the one thing that you also have to pay attention to is your Z0. You can either set the Z0 from the top of the part so that all the measurements in Z will be negative, or you could set it from the bottom of the part or where the table or vise would be. For our purposes, we're mostly going to stick with the top of the part, so we'll just leave that one alone. Now here you get to set the X and Y origin position, and that just depends on what your print states. And our print has everything coming from the top left corner of the part. And so I'm just going to go ahead and select this top left corner. If all my measurements came from the center, I would go ahead and select there. And then what you would notice is all of my coordinates would then change. I would have a crosshair going right down the middle, and my 0, 0 would be right in the middle of the part. So 0 up here, 0 on the left-hand side. But when I change it back to my top left corner, now you see my 0 and 0 are right up here. So I would have my X0 right there. So all my measurements would come away from the left side. And then I have my Y0 right over here. So all my measurements are going to come from the top, just like on my print. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave my origin offset alone. We don't need to worry about that right now. Just verify. It should be defaulted here, but just verify that you're in inches. And once that's done, I'm going to select OK. At this point, the first thing I should do, so you don't do a bunch of work and then lose it, is go ahead and save. And you can do this in any number of ways, just like on any other computer program. I could either hit save the disk right here. I can go file save, or I can just hit Control S as it says right here. So I'll just go ahead, file save. Now for you guys, what you're going to want to do is save this to your U drive so that when you go to a different computer, let's say in the actual shop, you can make sure that it saves there and you can access it there. If you save it to the actual desktop or the PC, then you'll have to be on that specific computer to receive it. So to get to your U drive, just go ahead and hit computer. And now you would just scroll down and you would find a U drive, which in my case, I don't have a U drive. Okay, I have a P, everything like that. But what you'll be looking for is a drive right here, but it has a U, and that's your specific drive. If you save right into there, that would be no problem. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and save it to this desktop because this is the PC that I always use. And so I'm just going to go ahead and go to my desktop, and I will just do Maddox mold. And you want to do maybe your last name and mold because that's the name of this project specifically. So once that's saved, you should be pretty much ready to go. It's all set up. You have your piece set up, X and Y. The depth, if I come over to my 3D view, we can actually see, just to get used to some of the controls, if I hold down Shift and drag with my left mouse button, I can actually see the thickness right here. While I'm in here, I can use my zoom or my mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Okay, if I click and hold my right mouse, I can also zoom in out that way. Okay, and then I can pan this around just with the left mouse. So that's just some information as far as getting this view set up. Also, if you want to go back to a normal view, you can come over here. You can actually just click just like that, and that gives me my X, Y, Z view. I can change different views. I could look at it from the side or the end. I can do what's called the isometric view. I can also hit the zoom to fit. So if I zoom way out or zoom in and I'm not really sure where I'm at, if I just hit zoom to fit, it brings it right back to the main view. And so that's in my 3D tab over here. So you're going to draw in this tab, and then you're going to simulate and check out the actual action in this tab. So check out the next video to start learning how to actually use the software.